Hey guys, Evan from Gymaware. We're really happy to be supporting Coach DeMayo's podcast series once again. For those that don't know, our main product is Gymaware. It's the gold standard for measuring performance and implementing velocity-based training in the weight room. It excels in busy team training environments, and for many coaches, it's the Swiss Army knife of their toolkit. The Gymaware is used for athlete profiling, jump testing, fatigue monitoring, and for lifting within velocity zones. The system provides real-time feedback on individual targets, plus it's got an impressive range of leaderboards. Now, for those that are after a VBT device that's affordable, for the individual and for smaller groups, we recently released our new laser-based product, Flex. Importantly, it's been independently validated and proven to be both accurate and reliable. So if you're interested in either product, or you want to learn more about the velocity-based training and how it can help you as a coach, check out our website or contact us directly. So in the meantime, we trust you enjoy the Coach DeMayo's podcast, Outside the Rack.
The world of strength and conditioning is filled with some fantastic practitioners that are always searching for more. But more what? What are strength and conditioning coaches searching for to better their ability to prepare their athletes? Well, what about cutting-edge information? Or a place where you can find different opinions from forward-thinking coaches on what you're doing, how you're doing, and try to get feedback to be better for your athletes? Or what about a place where you'll find like-minded coaches that can provide solid coaching advice and career development for you as you progress through your career as a strength and conditioning professional? Well, this is exactly why we built the Strength Coach Network. You'll have access to exclusive monthly content on top of the sensationally active forum that we have, where you can communicate with coaches all over the world to find those answers that you're looking for to help you be a better practitioner for your athletes. So make sure you hop on over to strengthcoachnetwork.com/CVASPS, that's strengthcoachnetwork.com/CVASPS, and get your 48-hour trial for only $1. I look forward to seeing you in the Strength Coach Network. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 67th episode of Outside the Rack, brought to you by Kinetic Performance, the makers of Gymaware. In this show, we're just going to try to dive a little deeper into the minds of the top practitioners in the world of sport performance to learn a little bit more about who they actually are and how they got to where they are today. Today, we are joined by the assistant football strength and conditioning coach at the University of South Carolina, Scott Salwasser. Scott, thanks for being with us, brother.
Hey, Jay, it's my pleasure, man. I'm really looking forward to it, and it's been a while since we've talked, so I'm looking forward to this opportunity to, talk shop and have a good time, and so let's do it.
Yeah, man, it's always great to catch up. I'm glad you're doing well, and I'm glad things are great, down there in Columbia. But before we get too far into this, man, who is Scott Salwasser?
You know what, man? First and foremost, and this sounds and my answer might have been different. Certainly would have been different 20 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago. And it sounds kind of cheesy, but the number one, I'm a father of two beautiful daughters, and may not be the answer most people would expect, but that's my priority, and that's number one who I am. And I'll be 100% honest with that. As far as after that, I would say I'm somebody who wants to help people get better, and obviously that takes many shapes and forms throughout the world, right? Teachers, surgeons, you name it. But my way of helping people get better or helping people improve is strength and conditioning, and happens to be something that I know a little bit about, that I'm passionate about, and that I enjoy. So I'm blessed to be able to take something that I enjoy doing, and that once again I know something about, and be able to use that as my vehicle to touch lives and help people improve, whether it be mentally, and psychologically, emotionally, and obviously physically.
I love it, man. And yeah, I would have guessed that about you. Number one, man, was the girls, and then when we've gotten to talk, every time it's been about. It hasn't been about what's best for Sal. It's always been about how can I find something to do what's best for everybody else. And
I
I think
appreciate
that,
that, man.
like,
Not everyone
that's,
would agree with you, but I
well,
appreciate that, man.
hey man,
You
that's
know,
just the vibe I catch, like,
I
and
appreciate it.
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
that
say
means
it
a
how I
lot,
see
man.
it. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's why I appreciate the times we get to talk and chat back and forth, whether it's an Instagram DM or whatever, man. Like,
Yeah, that means a lot, man. And I think in this profession, and I'm far from perfect, but I try to be someone that lifts up younger coaches and helps them along, and not be someone whose ego is so big that I'm trying to act like I got all the answers and suppress everybody and all that, man. So like I appreciate, the kind words, but yeah, I'm trying to help athletes and hopefully groom, the strength and conditioning professionals of tomorrow, even if it means that they're going to take my job one day. So
yeah. Well, I guess that means we're doing a good job, right?
yeah.
But no, man. The other thing too is you're a coach who digs, and really when it comes to this kind of, it's kind of funny to say it this way, this new idea that speed matters.
Mhm.
You were one of the first guys out there to really talk about sprinting with football and like working in this stuff and doing it at the FBS level. So like
Right,
being someone who's been kind of out in front of the pack, I'm excited to hear about these
right,
next two, but the first one in particular. If you wouldn't mind, describe
right,
about a learning situation that brought about an
right,
epiphany in your
right.
career.
Well, I've got two answers. I've got two answers for this question. Sorry, I just got a call. Two answers for this question, kind of in two different directions here. So ironically that you should ask, because today so I turned 40 years old a month or so ago, and so I want to run my 40 at 40. All right. So I actually did force velocity profiling on myself today, just 2 hours before we talked, to try to get myself on a 8-week program and try to, if I can break 5 flat, I'm 245 pounds and I'm 40 years old. So my goal is to break 5 flat. So I did some profiling on myself using the normal apps, My Sprint, Runmatic, stuff I've used before. But the cool thing is my friend Les Spellman, who obviously is blowing up now, but he's doing a lot of work with force velocity profiling using GPS data, which I've not done before. So in addition to my usual metrics that I would take on somebody training to improve linear speed, I wore a catapult unit, and I'm going to send my data over to Les, and he's going to, get on a Zoom call and kind of take me through his process for trying to, get some of the same metrics to individualized programming from GPS data, which obviously would be a game changer, because you can't, taking laser timed splits for an entire football team is a lot more, is a lot less cost time effective than just putting them in GPS units, which they already wear, having them run, and then having a formula to get that data from that. So hopefully it works. Looking forward to working with Les on that. So that is my sciencey kind of strength and conditioning answer that I'm doing now. But really, when you say epiphany, there's kind of three different strength and conditioning related, but not really like sports science related, more like just coaching, mentorship, like inspiration related answers to this question. So ironically, the first time I kind of had an epiphany was why I'm even in this business. So I graduated college, and I played and went to UC Davis in California, and graduated, was spending the summer kind of hanging out, going to the beach. I happened to be in Southern California. Now I grew up a USC Trojan football fan. And, playing in college, I decided that I enjoyed training. I enjoyed training really more than I enjoyed playing football. So I kind of knew maybe I wanted to be a strength coach, but we didn't really have one in college because I played at a D2 school. Now they're FCS. So I didn't really know what that looked like or what that was. So I decided to go visit just the USC campus again because I was a fan, and I'm walking past the practice field, and they happened to be out there doing like a team run. And so the gates open. So I kind of wander out there and I see this enormous bald guy taking the team through drills. It was Aaron Osmus, who now I've long since become good friends with. But I'm standing there looking at this dude and I'm like, that's a job. Like really, like that's a job. Like I can do that and get paid for it and like make a living from it. I mean, this is awesome. So I kind of hung around and got to talking with him. But anyway, that moment right there was when I decided to be a strength and conditioning coach. And you know, I didn't know even yet what it would entail. But anyway, that moment, and then fast forward a couple years, I'm at Sacramento State, and I'm in my first paid position working for Gary Uribe, who also came from USC. He's at San Jose State now, but he was my first mentor, and I'm so grateful for learning the right way, right away, so to speak, because I always tell people if I would have, you know, I didn't know, again, I didn't know what a strength and conditioning coach looked like. So like if I had been under, you know, some jabroni right from the start, I would have probably thought that that's how things should be, you know, and I wouldn't have known any different. But I learned the right way, right away, and ironically worked for, in my mind, still one of the best speed coaches in the country. Now, a lot of people don't know him because he's not on a lot of podcasts or anything like that, but tremendous coach that taught me that you should be coaching movement, you should be coaching speed, all that is just as important, if not more important, than the weight room. That was my first, you know, GA and full-time assistant job. And not to go overboard on this question, but the third epiphany I had was when I was at Cal as an assistant strength coach for football. Cal Rugby, if people aren't familiar with it, Cal Rugby is one of the most successful organizations that exists in sports. I mean, they've won 20-something national championships, and I had never seen a culture like that. I'm talking about buy-in from the players, like very high standards. But what really impressed me the most was like, most people know Jocko Willink. He's got Extreme Ownership. It's a book. But before that book even came out, you want to talk about a staff that had extreme ownership. You know, I was fortunate enough to be around those rugby coaches and never heard them badmouth a player, never heard them blame a player, never heard them, oh, that guy's a turd or whatever. Like if there was a player that was underachieving or acting up or not to the standard, it was the coach's fault and he was going to fix it. Now, you know, that didn't mean that every kid was fixable. And sometimes, you know, there's going to be consequences to pay. Obviously, they're not there coddling the players, but they're taking ownership over the product. And that just blew me away. It made me think like, wow, yeah, I mean, if I'm in charge of this, right, then I've got to take ownership over everything that's going on. And at the end of the day, regardless of what happens, good or bad, it's my fault. And that extreme ownership really blew me away. And that's something to this day that I try to carry with me. And I don't always do a perfect job of it, but I try to carry it with me. So anyway, there's my answers to learning situations and epiphanies.
Dude, I love it. You know, and I think that all too often people do kind of get stuck in different situations and having like a zeroed mindset of like, this is exactly where it is, but being able to understand early on what, again, like, I don't understand why this is becoming in vogue now, but like, if you run faster than the other guy, like you got a better chance to do things well. I don't know. When you say it that way, it kind of sounds like obvious, but like,
Right, yeah.
Improving those motor skills is so important, and to get that early is so important. But that's a crazy story about Double A, man. I didn't know that, and that's like,
yeah, man. I was like, that right there, that I want to do. I don't even know what that title is, but that's what I want to do. Yeah.
that's awesome, man. That's really awesome. But now, man, you know, when you have those three learning situations, it leads to questions, which leads to the next one. If Sal could ask one question and he knows he's going to get the answer to it, what is that going to be and why?
Yeah, you know, I think in this field, you know, and this is So the best way I can explain this is back when you were a kid, right? Like there were those books where you would read them, and it was like you'd come to a situation and you could pick. You had two choices, and it would say if you choose this, go to page 83, and if you choose this, go to page like 114 or whatever. And then if you didn't like what you found, you would go back, and then you would choose the other option, right? Or even like on Netflix, they had a show, Bandersnatch. It was like the same thing. You could click on one thing or the other. So I guess long story short, in this profession, you're faced with so many choices in terms of opportunities, jobs to take, jobs to turn down, weighing the work with the quality of life and all of that. So I guess my question would be, and I'm extremely happy and blessed to be where I'm at, but my question would be in terms of career moves, like where should I be? Like where should I be right now? Is it and I'm blessed to be here, where should I be 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Like what is the right choice? Because in this field, it's really, it's hard. Is the best way to put it. You don't know 1, 2, 3 years down the road, you don't know what's going to happen, so I guess, like, if I had one question, it would be that. It's like, show me a picture of me in a set of gear, with the logo on my shirt or whatever, that lets me know, all right, when this one comes, that's the one to take, and stay there as long as you can, and I'm blessed and fortunate, and I work for, like I said, Paul Jackson, the best strength coach in the business, and I'm beyond grateful to be where I'm at. But in this profession, you never know, man. So I guess that would be my question: is where should Sal ultimately be?
That's rad, man. Being able to see the future like that would be cool. And I think that that is something that is that a lot of us. Because here's like what could be wild, right? Like, what if you already skipped it? Like, what if you had that chance, you know? And then
Hey,
it's like, then what,
dude.
That'd be
Hey,
trippy.
and there's, ironically, there's been opportunities that I may should have taken that I didn't, that without getting into it, that I kicked myself over, so it's like, you never know, man. You never know. All you can do, and literally, again, I'm happy here, man. All you can do is wake up each day and give your best to the athletes, and have a positive attitude. But yeah, man, like, this is a field where, and I know you've been blessed to stay where you've been for a long time, and I think that's, none of us want to be vagabonds, bouncing from school to school all the time, man. I think we all want to be able to have a great situation where you can settle down and be comfortable, financially, but also, be able to impact lives, and grow as a coach, and win some games, obviously, and it's just, where is that, and yeah, man, there's some opportunities that you may have passed up that you should have taken, or but hopefully the best is yet to come. So I know that's kind of like, we'd all love to see the future for many different reasons, you know what I mean? But I guess that would be my question.
I dig it though, man. That's pretty rad. Because then too, like when that when that happens too, that'd be a good thing to know, where it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, man. Let's get off the train.
yeah, no doubt, brother, no doubt. But listen, man, I mean, a guy who's up there right now, rolling through the grind of the season, getting after it, trying to help coaches be better, trying to find better ways to do things. You got to have a way to get back to neutral. So,
Right.
what's Sal's escape?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, first and foremost, I'm a father, so my two daughters live in Texas, and I was able to, we had a bye week last weekend. So, I obviously, following proper precautions and wearing my mask and all that, I was able to, get out of town for a couple days and go see them both play soccer. One's 4 and one's 7, and the 4-year-old scored 2 goals, and probably told me like 10 times that she scored 2 goals, reminded me in case I forgot. And I'm like, yeah, I got them on video. And, you know, the 7-year-old plays soccer too, and, you know, is out there hustling and all that. And, you know, I like it for several reasons. I like it because, you know, since they're girls, they're going to play sports that I really know nothing about. So I'm there as a cheerleader. Like I don't know I don't know the first thing about soccer, but what I do know is like, you know, I want to see them hustle. I want to see them have fun. I want to see them smile and sweat and just, you know, be around their teammates, and they both enjoy the heck out of it. You know, and then after that, I got to go trick or treating with them, which was really cool. You know, so that's obviously an escape. You know, during lockdown, which unfortunately everybody had to deal with for a couple months a while back. You know, and as when I think back about it, you know, the tough part was not knowing. Again, we just talked about knowing the future. The tough part was not knowing the future. Like if you would have told me like everything's gonna be fine, like you guys are gonna play a season, like it's no worries, I would have enjoyed myself a lot more than I did, you know. But instead it was like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? But I'm fortunate enough to live right by the river down here, which, you know, I was able to get out and go to the river, fish, if you want to call it that. You know, my daughters would be quick to tell you that daddy's not very good at fishing. He doesn't ever catch anything, but, you know, I'll get out there and just get outdoors and fish. And I went to the beach when the beaches opened. And, you know, being a California guy, you know, I used to be a bit of a surfer, but moving to Lubbock, Texas for a few years, you know, that'll take the surfer out of you. There ain't many waves out there. So I haven't done that in a while, but, you know, outdoor stuff, beach, river, fishing, you know, but obviously ultimately my girls, and then reading. But I have a rule: when I leave the office, I like to read leadership books or non-strength and conditioning books. You know, I don't want to be sitting at home thinking about like jump profiling and stuff like that, you know, but I do want to sit at home and think about, you know, how to be a better man, a better leader, things like that. So I'll read that type of stuff.
I dig it, man. That's great. And again, man, I'm glad to see you're doing great. I'm glad we got the chance to catch up. This is awesome stuff. And, you know, again, Sal, just happy that you're happy, man, and that you're in a great spot and that things are good, because, you know, it's, at the end of the day, that's what matters. And I appreciate all you're doing to help people be better, man. And keep up the great stuff, brother. And again, thanks for your time.
Hey, likewise, brother, man. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll be in touch real soon, brother. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.